Okay, let's make sure this is working. Hello. Got 20 odd people already. Let's whack that like button straight up. Lots to talk about. Loads. Ryan, you made it to the live. Let's go. There's loads of outgoings. Crazy how it's all come around at once. Actually, just realised I need to keep my phone close because I've got like the lists and stuff just through people like Pice's tweets, so that I can have a look. How's everyone feeling about the outgoings then? Let's go, Kaz. Let's go from the top because Kaz was the first one here yet again. Might be holding a record right now for the most firsts because I think you do it on videos as well a lot of the time. So always the first one there. Sorry, I was just reading the tweet. Always the first one there. Let's go from Kaz. And then we've got the likes of Joel saying his GOAT KDH is leaving. His cameos towards the back end of the season, they were big. I was really impressed with him. I really was. And people saying like poor KDH, big up from Daniel Knight, Icon from Edom. But yeah, like honestly, KDH, I was really happy with him towards the back end of the season. I thought his cameos were like he was coming on, he was putting in a shift, he was working his socks off. Really big in a few like closeout games. Even like I think it was like 8 minutes off the bench against Tottenham in that 1-0 win. I thought he was really good in that game. And just to come on and inject a bit of energy, a bit of intensity. Really, really happy with him. So if he gets a move to Everton and he plays like he gets to play week in, week out, then all the best to him because I've been like I don't think you can have your opinions on KDH as a player and whether you needed the signing, whether it was a pointless signing or not. But for me, his attitude is brilliant. I think his commitment and his what's the word? What is the word? His God. I'm gonna get it. His application. That's the word. His application was top. So yeah. Daniel Knight saying welcome to the world champions and biggest club in London, Jarell Hato. Yeah, can't wait. The stuff that's going to come out today, in terms of the training pictures, Esteval first training pictures should be huge. Sorry, just 1 minute ago, I know you're here for Chelsea. David Ornstein's just said that Everton have made an improved offer for Tyler Dibling. Southampton going to reject apparently around 40 million. Interesting. Anyway, Ryan, let's go. Minutes to the live. Kaz saying here, Chelsea going to make over 200 million from outgoings this summer. Nuts, isn't it, Christian? Absolutely nuts. We're moving quicker, which is brilliant to see. Sad to see KDH leave. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was just saying, Joe. I agree with that. Yo, Stella, good. Happy for these guys. Ryan, yes, you're happy for the moves. What's up to Zach? Big up to Zach. Always here. Wish KDH the best. Yeah, I do too. I think he was, like I say, a good servant in the end, all things considered. Tenacity, no. I got there in the end. It was application. Because I think somebody else, perseverance, Ryan said, which both of these are true, but yeah. Stig, hello, Connor. Loving these live streams. Let's go, Stig. Thank you for the support. Big up. KDH was a great professional. Exactly that. Great professional. Wishing him the best at Everton if he goes, but need those minutes for Asugo Santos. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense because you've got Santos now who will take a lot of those rotation minutes and you're showing him that you're gonna like give him those minutes, right? You're showing the responsibility he's going to have in the team. So, and same with Asugo. So it makes a lot of sense. But like I say, I'm happy for KDH as long as the fee's okay. Yeah, I'll be happy. Just ask Grok, if all the players leave, including Jackson and George, what transfer money that would raise. Grok estimates 172 million euros. I'm assuming that doesn't include like Madueke and Felix because they're quite big already. Like they're close. Like the ones we've already made is close to 100 million. And as you can see, I've kind of got it on the tactics board here. These are like 6, or Brozier's already gone. But these are like 6 other players that could go in like the coming days. And Kunku's kind of in there, I guess. Yeah, I agree. Football VAR, he is a starter for half the teams in the league. I think KDH is the one that a lot of people are talking about right now. Need all the media, feed me all of it. The media today, Ryan, the Esteval pictures, Gittins in training, all those stuff. It's going to be brilliant. I can't wait. Oh, you mean 227 million euros with Jackson and 172 without Jackson. Okay. Yeah, Gittins and Hato pictures. Let's go. Esteval, all that good stuff. Are we not the best selling club in the history of the sport? I mean, it's hard to say we're not really, isn't it? Like, I did a TikTok about it the other day, and I got like a bit of stick in the comments from obviously like rival fans, basically saying that of course because we buy so much that we can sell. That doesn't really affect the prices that you sell at. Of course, it affects the amount of players you can sell. But I don't think that's what people are sort of talking about when they say Chelsea are a good selling club. I think it's the fees that they extract from those players. It's not like just because they sell 20 players. It's about how much are they getting for each. And in most cases, of course, there's the odd case where you undervalue a sale. But I think in most cases, we sell fairly good in terms of prices. So, yeah, it'd be hard to say not to, really, isn't it? Where are we? Can confirm it doesn't include sales already done. I see. That makes more sense. Jackson too. Yeah, I was about to like during this stream, I was going to sort of float the idea of him in and out of here, like whether it does or not. But yes, he definitely could, Billy. I want the double Dutch at Chelsea. I want Simmons in at Chelsea. With all these outgoings, I think that Simmons is obviously like, and we've seen the amount he's pushing now. The percentage from Fab keeps going up by like literally like 1%, like small, but it's moving. It's moving. So let's hope that eventually it can come to something. It looks like it's moving in the right direction very, very slowly. Already made 160 million euros at the end of the window. Will be over 300 million euros. Shall I read out the tweet? So Pice has sort of done the tweet. I'm sure you'll follow Pice already. Outgoings tracker. So you got Noni Madueke, 48 million guaranteed, but again that can get to about 52 supposedly. João Felix was 26 million guaranteed fee, but again there's about 20 million worth of add-ons in that, which are apparently quite achievable. Petrovic, 25 million. Broja, unconfirmed fee, but they were saying that they've met our demands, which were sort of, some people were saying that's 25 million. It's probably not. It's probably going to be about 15, but even so, like 15 to 20 would be really good considering his injury status and everything. Amugu, 12 million. Bashir Humphreys, that was technically like a loan last year that became an obligation, so that's 12 million or an option, either one. It's happened. Ishe Samuel Smith to Strasbourg, 6.5. Kepa, 5 million to Arsenal. And then you got Dewsbury, Ugochukwu, and Chukwuemeka. Fab has said all three are getting closer to making their moves this week. And then you got Tyreek George, of course, being linked away, maybe even to Leipzig as a separate deal to Xavi Simons. And then Nkunku, we keep seeing he's sort of linked away. Although there was a report the other day that Maresca has said that he could be a part of the team. And I think we saw it in the Club World Cup. I think it all depends on where Nkunku if Nkunku wants to be a starter, it's obviously not going to happen. But if we don't sell Nkunku, it clearly isn't the end of the world, because I don't think he'll get frozen out. I think he's a player that Maresca doesn't mind having around, and at least that's what the reports are saying. So in terms of all those sales, is there anyone that you're unhappy about losing? Okay, Jackson, of course, being linked as well, so he could be floated into here. Of all of these players, if there's one that you're most upset about, who would it be? Let's get into that part of the stream. Joel saying Ugochukwu is good too, but didn't see much of him. Yeah, I think you'll get a good sale of him. I actually think he's got really high potential. Yeah, I saw this as well, Zach, because of the sale from Hawkins, because the sale is close. Where do we think he's going? Who knows? Inter were linked, but then it looked like Lookman was going there, so that probably won't happen. Grok seriously underestimating Jackson's value, 55 million euros. Dreaming, ain't you, Grok? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's gonna go for more if he goes. I think he'll stay. I really hope Jackson stays. If we get Xavi Simons and Garnacho through the door, Garnacho's looking more likely. I think I really want to keep Jackson this season now that you can't get Ekitike as a replacement. If you get rid of all of these players in here, I think you're generating enough money anyway to go for Simons and Garnacho, especially if George is going, because that was like another left-sider. That's sort of your Garnacho's coming in to replace George, and Mudryk is like your backup to Gittins and Simons. Yeah, I really want to keep Jackson. We have already sold 151 million euro of players according to Transfermarkt. Grok estimates are additional to that. I see. Nice. My bet is the fixed fees will be low for all the outgoings, but there'll be good add-ons. Yeah, let's see. Hopefully it is. And Dyer, Barry, and Diblin, man. Imagine. Unbelievable. Like all three players I love as well. Arsenal, City, and Tottenham can't sell players. Yeah, they struggle. Man United finished 15th and haven't sold a single player. Like, there's so many that are struggling, and we're doing really well at that this summer. So great to see. Hey, Con, it's been a while. Hello, Prem Talk. Yeah, when was the last stream? Was it Thursday? We've got a video that I was making on Friday. That's coming out today. And I'll let you know now. It's the rating your guys' teams. So what I will say, because there's 60 people in the building, and I will quickly just say, please leave a like on the stream if you haven't already. But also, when this video comes out later today, please show your support on it, because if you enjoy it, this is something that I might do throughout the season, maybe even for previews, is where we do a sort of a once a week, once every few weeks, where I rate your guys' teams. You send in the teams that you would like to play, and we sort of go through, and it's a way of sort of trying to help learn the tactical side of the game, where we can sort of fix players, show the positions where they'll be, sort of talk about the balance in terms of the profiles that we've got on the screen. Is there enough runners in the team? Have we got enough sort of recovery pace? Have we got enough of a fixed sort of shape? Like all these things. So it hopefully helps to bring the tactical understanding up. So that video is out today. We've got 4 teams that we speak about in it. 4 very sort of interesting teams, all unique in their own way. So hopefully that video will be very good. Again, I'm going to be trialing with a little bit of editing, probably only for the intro, but I'm just trying. I think if you guys haven't watched the Robert Sanchez video yet, go watch that, because again, I was trialing with some editing. Really not my forte, but I'm trying to add it slowly. Yeah, let's go through. Pardon me. 378 million euros with the sale, 323 million without Jackson. Crazy. This is if Simmons comes, I think Nkunku minutes will be even more limited. Yeah, 100% they would, and I think, like, of course he would be wanted to be sold. But my point is, if you end up with him at the end of the window because you don't get a fee you're happy with, it's not the end of the world. A lot of people saying so we got Leslie. Yeah, we're all waiting for Simmons, aren't we? Zach says Carney or Leslie for the ones he's disappointed about. Carney, KDH. Jackson's not worth more than 50 mil. For me, he is, but each to their own. Happy for Jackson to leave for 65 plus. Sad about Broja. Yeah, the injuries hurt Broja. It's a shame. It is a shame. Connor, Simmons is the more likely. Of who? I think Simmons is coming. I didn't say he wasn't. More likely than what? Michael saying he'll miss Petrovic. Yeah, I think that's fair. If you watch my goalkeeper video the other day, there's a reason Petrovic was seen fairly highly coming into this season. So I don't blame you for that at all. Including Simmons and Garnacho, who are your top 3 additions. Ooh, good shout. That's tough, because it depends what you want. Like, it depends if we're talking for like this season or for the entire project. Gittins is probably my number 1 for the entire project. Gittins and Hato are probably 2 of them, and then it would be one of the strikers, but I'm not even sure which one. But then it's tough. Simmons is the most exciting. Honestly, I'm just really happy with the overall squad build. It's less about the exact players that we brought in, and it's more about the profiles and the squad building that I'm really happy with, which is a boring answer, I'm aware. But yeah, George and Achempong, they both must leave for their own development. Achempong on loan, I agree. George, I would have sent on loan as well, but if he goes, I don't blame him. I really like Tyreek George. I think there's a lot to come from Tyreek George in the future as a player. I think he's another one of those Cobham graduates that will go on to have a very good. What's the word? Sorry, I got confused. I got sent off guard there because I saw another power chat, which is now, if I quickly switch down, that's the 3rd power chat. I'm starting to feel like a real YouTuber and streamer in the last 2 weeks, because that's our 3rd power chat in the last 2 streams. Kaz, thank you very much for the power chat. And we got the legend George Benson in the channel, who gave me a shout out a few weeks ago, and we smashed it up nearly about 1,000 subs from that. So we're winning a lot. Let's go, George. Can't wait to record a few videos with you before the season starts, and hope that your flight and everything was all good coming to the UK. So how long are you here, George? How long are you in the UK for? Like. Let's go, Mr. Laz. Let's run up those likes. I'm not sure what we're on at the minute. 30. So let's run that up as much as possible. Let me quickly go back and get on a few of these other chats that I missed. If I haven't replied to your chat and I missed it, I'm very sorry. Just retype and I'll try and get to it. Yeah, 3 days without a stream, Kaz. It was unbelievable. Took the weekend off. So poor of me. Unprofessional. Hi, Connor. I don't think we will keep Jackson and buy Garnacho and Xavi. That will be my 9 attacker. That will be 9 attackers without. Okay, well, let's have a quick look. Let's get rid of these. So these are the guys that we're saying are going to be sold. So let's just put them to the side. So we'd have Delap, Jackson, where's João Pedro here? You'd have, let's say for the 4 positions, right? You're talking 9. So you'd have Palmer, and then let's put Simmons here as well, which you haven't got on screen at the minute. So let's just do that. That's Simmons, Esteval and Neto, Gittins and Garnacho. Have I missed someone? Because if not, you've got 2, 4, 6, 9. So you've got your 9 even with Garnacho. Now, somebody did type it. Let me try to see if I can find it real quick. Somebody put, yeah, I mean, put it at the bottom here. Almost all of you forgetting Paez and Kenda to come back. And I touched on this in the squad building video. So I'll show you this. With that, of course, that becomes, now you have another, like, you have to make your decisions again. Okay. So at that point, maybe you do sell on Jackson. Or maybe Neto is sold on, which I don't want to happen because I think his intangibles are really important. Big up, Thomas. Big up, man. But that's your 9 attackers for this season, which is what Maresca wants for this season. So that makes sense. And then you're saying that we're forgetting about Paez and Kenda. Paez has been sort of said that he'll almost be in the Enzo role. Again, he can play in that sim. Essentially with Paez, you want him in here. You want him in that left half space. So when it comes, yeah, Garnacho, this is Simmons, that's Garnacho. I'll just put the names on so that you actually, so that it's not as confusing. That's 9, Daniel, here. That's your 9 attackers at this end of the pitch for this season. Like I say, yes, you'll have to make decisions going into next season with Kenda. But the reason that I'm not as annoyed about it as I was when, say, it was Kudus, and I was making quite a big deal about, and I like Kudus as a player, I think he's brilliant. But it was another left footer, and you have Neto, Esteval, you would have had Kudus, then you would have had Kenda and Paez, both left footers as well, and Palmer, a lefty. Whereas at least with this, we've added 2 right footers with Simmons and Garnacho. So I do think that makes a lot more sense for the squad balance. Now, yes, that would mean that maybe next season it is probably someone like Neto or Jackson, who is another left footer, that maybe then leaves to allow room for Kenda, and then Paez maybe becomes part of that midfield / attack contingency in a similar way to Enzo, where he's a little bit of both. So that's where Paez would fit in. And he could even have 2 years on loan at Strasbourg. Let's see how his development goes this year. But I think that, yeah, for this season, I think that being your 9, it makes sense. It gives you a lot of everything in terms of the profiles that you want. So, yeah. Let me quickly go up. George is in 3 weeks in UK. Nice. So you going to Palace? You going Palace? And then I'm assuming, are you going to go to a couple of games while you're here, or what's your plans? By next summer, Jackson, Kunku, Juan, and Neto, Garnacho all have to be gone. Wouldn't say all have to be gone. And Kunku probably goes this summer. Yeah. Neto / Garnacho. I don't think Garnacho will be sold straight away, but like you say, Neto, or for me, it's Neto or Jackson. One leaves, Kenda comes in. That's your 9 again, and then Paez is a bit of a hybrid. All of this Lenny Euro hype, Connor, and we have him at our club with Josh. Yeah, Josh is that type. Lenny Euro is very good though. Let's not pretend. He is very good. But Josh Chempong, top. He's top. So I want him to go on loan and get big minutes. But if he stays this season, I'm also fine with it, because if that's what Maresca wants, and we've heard it from him in the past, that's what Maresca wants, then that's fine by me. If he thinks he'll benefit from being in and around the team more and more, then so be it. Also, Connor, do you think Igachukwu can become a good player, and what is his good attributes? Yeah, I mean, he's a physical profile, right? He's a physical DM. He can get his leg extensions top to sort of intercept passes and make those interceptions in the middle of the pitch. Good. He's technically good for his build in terms of he can sort of operate in those tight spaces with quick touches in the deep pivot. I do think that eventually he is one of those ones that we could regret. But again, if the price is right, and you're not going to, when I say regret, I mean in the sense that he'll go on to have a good career. But at the same time, you kind of have to sell Igachukwu, because you're in that position now where you've got Andre, you've got Casado, you've got Asugo, Enzo, and Lavia. So you're in that position where you're a little bit stuck. The irony is I bet Garnacho will join and be a huge success just because Murphy's Law. I do think he could do really well. I do, like, eventually. And it's just, I wouldn't sign him. I will put that out there because I am worried about, and I've said this on Twitter before. The thing that puts me off Garnacho is nothing to do with his playing ability, because I actually do see it with him. I see him as a goal scoring winger. I understand what the scouts see, and I also see it in the data. I understand that side of it. The bit that worries me is the harmony of the squad, try not to upset anything, and also the fact that he's now got Gittins ahead of him. So price point becomes a massive thing. If you get Garnacho for 30 to 35 million, and you are so sure that he's not gonna be an issue in terms of his attitude, then I understand why you would do it. I really do, because there is stuff to like, but I'm just a bit worried about. I'm just worried about the other side of it. That's how I feel. Just shouldn't have signed a Sugo, to be honest. I understand that in terms of the Leslie Ugochukwu thing, but I was on Asugo since I saw him playing for the under-17s Portugal. Back at the same time, I always say this when I talk about Asugo, the same time that I first saw Renato Vega. And I think Asugo is brilliant. I really, really do. And I said he's Caicedo V2. So I'm gassed that we signed Asugo. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't. But I get it. I do. If you wanted to keep it to Ugochukwu and he was part of your plans and you wanted to have a little bit more height in midfield, yeah, maybe you didn't need him. Maybe it is overkill. Garnacho managed 184 shots last 2 seasons for this poor United team. Would have only been second to Cole Palmer. Yeah, he's a consistent goal threat. Gets in behind, a willing runner. He's relentless, and he does have a nose for getting into those areas. It's just then adding that next bit. You've essentially gone from having Madueke, who could have exploded in the same way that he gets into those areas so often. He carries you from poor positions to high XG positions, and then wasn't always able to convert on that. Garnacho, in a different way, he's more of a runner, and you find him in those advanced areas. But again, he's got a knack for getting into those advanced areas and turning a poor chance into a good chance. But again, can't always convert that into the goals that are needed. So, as Kalius has said here, like the video, lads, I'm just going to really quickly, be 2 seconds. I've just got to take a quick call. I'll literally be 2 seconds, though. Just going to say that I'm streaming. Record time there. Let's have a quick refresh, see what we're doing for likes. I have got a little section that I want to do in this video about the 3 tactics sort of ideas I think we could see this season and why we'll use each one. So I'm going to sort of have a little 10-minute section in the middle of this stream. So unprofessional, yeah. My bad, Kaz. My bad. My bad. Disasi to Newcastle. Has there been something said? Already liked it. Of course you have, Stig. Big up, Stig. Yeah, we're on 37. Let's get it to 50. I'm going to refresh a couple times. Can we get that to 50 minimum? I think Jack stays. Wait, Jack? Do you mean Josh? Or am I tripping? Oh, Jackson. Just clocked we get our new player debuts this weekend in the front. Yeah, I know, Zach. I know that the Esteval debut, I'm so excited. Realised you fixed the streaming chat delay. I didn't know there was a streaming chat delay, to be honest. So I didn't do anything to fix it. Has that been an issue for anyone else that you've realised? My bad if it has been, but sometimes I obviously, if I do a section, I'll sort of like not talk to the chat for a while, so it takes a while to then get back down to where it's a bit more active. So maybe that's what you mean. Who are guaranteed starters for you? Honestly, and I'll make, again, video out tomorrow about exactly this, because this is really important what Stella said here about guaranteed starters, because I think we're moving away from the aspect of your best 11. I think we're moving away from that. I've got a big video out tomorrow, which I'm very, very excited for. I think it could be one of the better videos of pre-season for this. So keep your eyes peeled for that. But in terms of the players that I think will start more often than not, let's just move all this to the side for now. I'm going to say Palmer, Caicedo, Colwill. Like, they're the 3, really, for me. I think Everybody else is somewhat. Now there is like certain like aspects like Reece, like of course when he's fit, like he will play more often than not. But again, he's maybe not every single game undroppable because you're trying to protect him. Enzo, I would say, is close as well because that vice captaincy, the leadership. Kukurea as well, really close. But now that you've got Hato there, is a little bit more of a question mark. Less so, but a little bit. Yeah, a lot of people saying Cuckoo, which I do agree with. Let's put Cuckoo for now, just because as he starts the season as untouchable, in my opinion, for sure. I just think that he's got the most sort of jeopardy in that sense because you've brought in a very good backup. Yeah, exactly. Really competitive, Daniel. It's moving away from that aspect of what do you call it? Best 11s. Let's quickly refresh the stream, see what we're on, see if we got 50 yet. 45, we need 5 more likes to get to 50. Let's run those up real quick. We've been trying to get to 100 as quick as possible in all streams. So let's at least get that to 50 for the half-hour mark. And then we can aim for the 100 in the back end. What do you think happens to Anselmino? I think he goes out on loan. Do I regard him as a right centre-back? Yes, I do. It's a way for us to make money because of how small Stamford Bridge is, Thomas. What did I miss? So what's the point in signing these players like Ugochukwu and did for... David Dacho Fofana just blocks the squad. Yeah, it's at the end of the day, it's trading players. Like, as whether you agree with that or not, it's the idea of can we buy players at a good price that are still good in the market, use your scouting department at a good, like, to a good level. Then can you sell them for a profit, or can you sell them, or can you loan them out, build their sort of portfolio and then sell them? But it's just a consistent way as well. You got to think, if you buy players 1 year, all the players that we're selling now, KDH, Felix, players that we bought last season, they technically go onto this year's books if we can sell them at a good price and give us more leeway with the PSR. So, like, all the financial sort of aspects of it in terms of player trading, like, I will give it to the owners. They know what they're doing when it comes to player trading. There's a reason we've been able to spend as much as we've been able to spend on a consistent basis without breaking and, like, breaching PSR rules. Of course, you've had the hotels and, like, the women's team and those sales and things to sort of aid that, but the ability to trade players and to sort of continuously flip and move and keep sort of recycling those players on and on and on is a big part of that. So I do agree. I think that's quite a big aspect. Hey Connor, how does Gvardiol compare to Raul Hato? Raul Hato, do you see Gvardiol more as a centre back or someone who can occupy all 4 zones playing from left back? I think very similar. I think very similar in the sense that they're both sort of naturally centre backs. And they have like centre-back tendencies in terms of how they've been taught and their behaviours. But I think in terms of their physical attributes, they're very much unicorns. Like Gvardiol, I always say, is a unicorn footballer. I think Hato's in that similar breadth. And I think that I think they can occupy in all 4 zones down that left side. So yeah, they're similar. They are similar. Cuckoo too, but he could be sacrificed. Exactly, yeah. That's why I sort of was hesitant to maybe yes or no with him. Hope we don't sell Jackson. One of Pedro that get injured, we'll have less options. Exactly, and he's a runner. And I do think that he is someone that we'll use for certain game plans. So I don't want to sell him. Agreed, drives me mad when I see all these starting 11s. Yeah, it's like I'm happy to build starting 11s. I think it's fun. But I think that I always try to preface it with just because one player's not in there. Like, you literally nowadays, if you was to make an 11 right now and post it on Twitter, I guarantee you, instead of comments like, oh, I really like this 11, the comments will 100% be, where's Esteval? Where's Lavia? Where's Reece? Like, it's every single time. It's not about the 11 on the pitch because you've missed someone out. But when you've got a team as deep as this, it's impossible not to miss someone out. Like, you've got 15, 16 players who on their day should all be starting for a Chelsea caliber team and winning it, like in a sort of a team challenging for a title and challenging in the Champions League. That's just the fact of it. So that's sort of what tomorrow's video is hopefully going to preface to a really good standard. Like I said, I'm really excited for tomorrow's video. It's going to go over the tactical sort of intricacies of the team, but also like how each signing and the profiles and the differences it can bring. Like, there's so much to it. Ownership always said there will be a wage structure, but space for 1 or 2 superstars. The likes of Osimhen or Elise were never them. Talking of Baps or Vinny, we might be ready for next year. Yeah, maybe if we're really close and we need one more signing, maybe they do. I don't think they're going to do it unless they think it's really necessary. But they have, of course, it's been something that's been said. So who knows? We've got 84 people in the building. That's like an extra like 25 in the last few minutes jumped up. Can really quickly run that to 50 likes, please. We're on 47. Can we run that up real quick? We'll answer a few more questions. Then we're going to go into like a little 10-minute tactical section, which I wanted to speak about. And then we'll end the stream with another sort of 15 minutes of questions and vice versa. And yeah, and then I've got a video coming out today, like I said, ranking your guys' starting 11s for next year and sort of providing them with tactical context and balance. So that will be fun as well. At the end of the transfer window, September 1st last year, we had a squad of around 25, 2 players for each position, and then a few extras. Yeah, and that's what we're going to have again this year. And I said this with the way we've recruited. It's similar in the idea to have 2 players in each position, but now it's with extra quality. It's not just numbers. It's not just making up numbers. It's quality in every single area, which I love. But at the end of the year, we were down to bare bones. Yeah, exactly. It can change on a sixpence. It really can. Yeah, I don't know when they'll be out of Destroyer, but I can't wait to see that Esteval sort of training pictures. It's going to be, yeah, it should be out this afternoon. I have no idea exactly when. By the way, just going to quickly plug it because there's 80 odd people in the building. Pardon me. Go watch the Chelsea Sanchez video if you haven't already. And if you could leave a comment about what you think about the editing style. Again, I'm not very good at editing at all, but do you like sort of that I'm experimenting with it a little bit more? Does it make the content a little bit more consumable when I have a little bit of a mixture of like maybe editing in the intros and a little bit sort of more with the data plots and all these things and bits we can get on screen, and then have like this tactics board section at the end? Yeah, it'd be really helpful if you guys could go watch that video and give me a bit of feedback on that, because I was quite happy with how that video came out. Of course, it's really experimenting. Like the editing, I'm not actually that happy with, but in terms of the layout and the formatting of the video, I enjoyed. So yeah, go let me know on that if you could. Can Auto overlap? Yes, he can. Yes, he can. He's got the pace and athleticism. It's all about his athletic, the athletic side of his game. Massively plays into the fact that he can do that. Think Nuno Mendes when he breaks from these areas and he can provide sort of. Oh, that's not an arrow. He can provide runs into here and here. That's what you can expect from Hato when he plays. How do you think Tammy did at Chelsea? Oh, random question. I liked him. I liked him for what he was. I don't think he was ever going to be a title-winning goalkeeper. Definitely not a title-winning goalkeeper. Title-winning striker. But yeah, I liked Tammy. It was in that sort of period where we all enjoyed having the likes of Mount, Tammy, Tomori, Reese, like all the Cobham grads coming through with Lampard. It was just a fun time, wasn't it? It was just fun. Garnacho or George? I mean, I like George more just because he's Cobham. Literally John Lowe when it comes to software. By the way, I will quickly say Garnacho has a higher ceiling purely off of what we've seen now. Even then, it's close, but I just think Garnacho, like I say, he's sort of that one step. If he is one step away from becoming what he can be, and maybe in terms of an all-rounder, George is actually, I rate higher. But in terms of what you want from Garnacho and what he could become as a goal-scoring winger, if he ever got to that level, then it's extremely high. But it's a big if. Yeah, the thought of having Tammy in goal. Got the height for it. Where was I? I was on one that sort of threw me off guard. I'll try to find it again. This literally use CapCut on my phone. Like literally, like I'm so bad when it comes to like YouTube is so secondary to me. YouTube streaming, like it's all secondary. Everybody else, I feel like a lot of other people in this community and like people that go into YouTube and all this stuff. Yeah, and I appreciate that, by the way. Definitely better with the editing as you keep experimenting, it'll get better. Thank you. But I come from the background purely football first, like academy football, coaching, performance analysis, like all the things I studied and have already worked in the past. All of it comes from a football background. So a lot of people that are in this community that come more from a sort of media background where they've done sort of film, producing, commentary and all this stuff, that to me is very secondary. The actual part for me that is like my forte is is primarily football. So all of this is I'm learning on the go. So yeah, that's kind of why I keep asking for like advice and feedback is probably the word I'm looking for. Where are we? How many international domestic loan spots do we have left? Would love Josh to get a really good loan because I think he's ready for more minutes. I actually don't know. Because we've got the 3 that have gone to Strasbourg, haven't we? So yeah, I'm not actually sure. I'm not great for that. It's like I try to keep up with in terms of the amount of loan spots and like the finances and things like that. So yeah, I'm not 100% sure, but I do agree. I think a good loan. I would have liked Josh to go to Strasbourg. But I do think the 3 that have gone to Strasbourg is really good. Penders, Paez, and Sarr. Of course, Sarr was sort of he was already there, but that was bought supposedly for keeping the fair market value when we sign him. So yeah, big up to Sam. Big up Sam Huggins. Let's go. The 100 shot is a problem when they're not accurate. Yes and no. I think they cause chaos. I get what you mean, of course, if he's skewing every single shot, but I do like the sort of the tendencies and the not ego, but the mindset, because it is important to have high shot volume, especially when you've lost Noni. I do think it's something you want to add. It's something Gittins brings as well. Less volume with Gittins, but more, again, you can see he's got the mindset to do it. But no, his ability to generate his own shots, Gittins and Garnacho can both do this quite well. Maybe not his own shots as much as Gittins, because Gittins has great separation, whereas Garnacho struggles a little bit more with creating his own separation. Newcastle just checked in for Malik Thior. Interesting that they're not moving on Scalvini. Yeah, their centre-back signs are weird. I quite like the idea of Van Hecke. I saw that last week, but I guess it's price dependent. Malik Thior's an interesting one. Was there a price attached to that, Zach? Wouldn't loan both Anselmino and Josh, to be honest. Rather sell Chalobah and integrate both. I'd definitely loan Anselmino. If you're going to sell Chalobah, then you can definitely bring Josh and fast-track his minutes, so I agree with that. We have 7 right centre-backs. Is that including like Disasi, Daniel? Because he'll go. The 3 that I can definitely see staying this year is these 3. Chalobah, Fofana, Tosin. And then Josh maybe gets loaned, or if one of these did somehow leave, then that becomes Chalobah's spot. Unless maybe later in the window we move for a right centre-back. It's not impossible. Maybe Gurhey, it depends. It all depends. Do you think we have brought in more starters for the first team? As Charlie was saying. Who's Charlie, by the way? Oh, Charlie Patrick. I'm assuming that's who you mean, Thomas, right? Was saying that Jackson and Madueke should be squad options, but they were starting every week last season. I think he probably means squad options this season, which I do agree with. I would have kept Madueke as a squad option this year. But I do think we've brought in more starters for the first team, definitely, because, I mean, João Pedro looking like, again, him or Delap going to be a starter with Jackson being pushed back to a squad role if he stays. Simmons coming in, which hopefully means that, as a starter, which again, a more often starter, which means you've got Gittins and maybe Garnacho as sort of like your more projecty players for the wings. Esteval can be he can take his time a little bit because you've got Neto who can stay in the team on the right. So yeah, and then Hato. Yeah, I think you've brought in a few starters, and then you've brought in a few players that can really challenge sort of Gittins, Hato, even Esteval coming and joining, that can challenge for their spot. So I think it's a good mixture of the two. Tell what to Jackson that he's going to be a squad player. Do you think Sarr, Anselmino, Josh as 3 young right centre backs long term is an issue? I mean, yeah, but I think that yes and no, because I think Josh still has the future as a right back who becomes a right centre back. I think Sarr is more of the actual stereotypical right centre back, and I think Anselmino can be the central centre back. So I think it's going to be the case where you've got 3 players there. The worst one probably gets sold, in all honesty. And then, yeah, it's going to come down to who does the best. Because that's what Chelsea's sort of, especially with the young players like these, like Anselmino, Sarr, when you're acquiring those players years before they're going to be ready to play, unless they, again, explode at a really young age. It is going to be down to the fact that if they show that they're Chelsea level and they're so ready to break in that they do, and if not, they're sold. A bit like Angelo. So, there's different ways. The whole "would you like X player" always seems funny to me. I take any good player if they're cheap and reject them if they're too expensive. Yeah, I think that's fair. I think price is such a big important when it comes to all these player discussions. You see Josh just as much as a modern right back. For me, he's the like perfect right back. He's the perfect right back, right centre back hybrid. Perfect. Like him, Ishe Samuel Smith, same on the other side. They're just, for the modern game, they're perfect. You are one man short on the field. Yeah, I know. This was just to this wasn't to show anything particular. This was just to let's just put Enzo here, even though this whole team was nothing to do with anything, because I mean, look at the balance for this team. There's no right back basically, unless you're starting Caicedo as a right back. It was purely just to visualize sort of the front line. Do you think Tiana Barry is similar to Nico? Absolutely, yeah, 100%. A taller version and a better in the air version, but similar in the sense of like how they generate high XG chances. They all sort of fall into that category. He was actually showing us how he'd set up if Jackson got another red card. Yeah. Yes. Imagine João Pedro goes from the 10 and he becomes a striker. And we play like this. Great shout, John Lowe. Could Simon replace Enzo on the pitch? At times, yes. Overall, like, no. Do you mean in this particular setup? I mean, this particular setup, I'd be very shocked if it ever happened. Not ever, but yeah. I mean, he could, sure. Maybe not with Caicedo at right back, because then you'd have Andre solo pivot, whereas you'd probably want it if Caicedo was at right back like this, which, again, take no note of this team. This was purely accidental that it ended up like this. But again, this is what you can expect from the video coming out later today, where we purely just figure out how a team would look. It would probably look like this off the ball, wouldn't it? Matteo Moretto reported that Newcastle have moved away from Scalvini to Tior, no prices. Interesting. Do you think Paez is slightly less value to us now simply because we paid peanuts for him? I don't think so. I think he's so highly rated. I think it's just I wanted this Strasbourg loan for him. I'm so excited for this. It's probably my favourite loan, honestly. Strasbourg, Paez to Strasbourg, I think is perfect. I think it'll be his team. I think we'll have the keys now over there. I love it. I really do. And I think if he shows exactly the level that we know he has, then he becomes key in this squad. And I think other people get moved on to accommodate for him. So, yeah, I think he's absolutely fine. Would Rodgers be a good fit instead of Simmons? Yes. But as I sort of tried to touch on, the reason I'm more for Simmons now than I was before is purely because we've signed Gittins, and I wanted my absolute must this window. A few of my musts was box presence, which I feel like we got with the lap as a signing. And even João Pedro adds some. But probably my secondary was pace and power on the left side of the pitch. And we've added that with Gittins, but also with Hato in deeper areas. So now that we've added the pace and power that I wanted, Simmons I'm much more open to than I was prior. Because Rodgers adds a bit more pace and power than Simmons does. Again, Simmons has got like different types of athleticism. He's very quick in acceleration off the spot. His first 1 to 2 steps to generate acceleration, to generate separation with his acceleration is top, but not as strong built as like Rodgers and all those players that we're talking about. So that's part of it. We're on 56 likes with 86 in the building. Can we run that to 75 if possible? That's the next goal. 75 likes. We've got 56. I've just realised I haven't gone into the bit that I want to speak about. So I'm going to cut the questions for a minute and we're going to do a 10-minute sort of tactics section. And yes, Simmons is more nimble. He's more, what's the word I was using before? He's more twitchy. Definitely. Right. Gonna not look at the chat for a minute, although I'm really going to quickly look at, hey man, why is Neto in the bomb squad on your tactics board? He's not part of that. My bad. He's not part of that. At all. He's not part of that. That was just purely getting him off the pitch. But what's up, Reese? Yeah, we're gonna stop with the chat for a second. We're gonna do a 10-minute section about why the 3 tactics that we could see this year. I'm gonna touch on. So yeah, we'll do that for 10 minutes. Please drop a like if you haven't already. We've got 90 odd people in the building. If we can run the likes up, hopefully we can get over the 100 mark for the last 15 minutes for likes and for viewers. So that would be brilliant. So let's try and get a semi sort of normal team on the pitch first. So where's Reese? here. Let's go with this. With Neto here. So the first team that we're going to speak about, the first tactic that we'll speak about is one that everybody's going to be aware of, and it is, of course, inverting a fullback. And this one doesn't need as much explanation because everybody knows what this entails. A fullback going into midfield, let's say Reece James, Enzo pushes forward and it creates this shape on the ball. Now, again, why would Enzo Maresca use this tactic in certain games? Firstly, he gets to have his two pocket players whilst not sort of compromising having two direct outlet wingers. Now, against certain teams where you really want to use the wings as your main sort of area to exploit a team, I do think we'll continue to see a fullback in the middle of the pitch. It provides that steady 3-2 base that we've come to fruition with, and it is good for protecting the middle of the pitch in transition, having that 3-2 with strong pivot in place rather than it being Enzo a bit deeper, which we'll speak about later. For me, the biggest part of this is having your two 1v1 wingers. As I said, it's very important in certain games to be able to get those 1v1 isolations, because that may be your best bet of creating chances. So in certain games where Maresca wants to do that, we'll see the inverted fullback. I'm still sure we'll see that a lot this season. And yes, you can do that with Reece. You can do that with Cucurella at points. Hato technically can. Again, I've said why I'm maybe a little bit skeptical on using him in that area of all, because of his sort of one-footedness. And Gusto, again, in my opinion, he can do it very well. But you've seen if he's off of confidence, then his passing can let him down at times, which can lead to chances. So James and Cucurella are probably your more steady options for the inverted role next season. But it is definitely something I think we're going to continue to see used for those reasons, especially with the 1v1 wingers. Now, the second, of course, and also just speaking about the inverted fullback, as we did last season, this could also be in the pocket. So let's say Lavia is starting instead of Enzo, then instead it could even be, now this could be any shape. This could be Palmer here and Cucurella up in here. This could be Palmer over on this side with James in here. But of course, it could also lead to this. This maybe works a bit better with Gusto, because you're then using Gusto's sort of ability and mobility to counter press all these areas. And yeah, use that sort of energy that he's got in the pocket, which I still think is a very good way to play, especially if you're trying to sustain pressure and block teams in. I think having a fullback in these areas is, I really like it, because I think that these are players that are built to defend. They have the mindset to defend, and they're intense, especially when Cucurella is up in these areas. You can win the ball back and create chances from winning the ball back, from counter pressing, so much easier with the likes of Gusto and Cucurella inside the pitch, rather than your Palmers, your Enzos, etc. So that's one way of playing the inverted fullback, which we know. The second way, which is going to see a lot more this season, is, of course, the overlapping fullback. So let's really quickly move. Let's say Palmer plays on the right in this game. So let's say Gusto's playing instead of Reece. Yes, this could be Reece, but let's see how his body handles it. So that's your 4. Again, let's say Caicedo and Enzo. Just keep losing players there. Enzo. So we've got Enzo and Caicedo in the middle. This would maybe have Simmons in here with Gittins here. So Simmons is in the 10, Palmer's on the right. And an overlapping fullback. Why can Chelsea use this a bit more this season? Firstly, to have this double pocket, which we spoke about last season, really early in the season. Of course, the positive of it is you have two brilliant players in the pockets for turning and creating chances. You lose the 1v1 threat, but we've seen how it can work with Gusto pushed up and the dynamic of Palmer and Gusto. Palmer sort of timing his run to take the fullback inside, and Gusto arriving, so he doesn't have to create the separation himself, but instead he's arriving from deep. That's not an arrow. He's arriving from deep to then put the ball across the box, or just to get into an advanced area to then cut it back to Cole, who can create from sort of this area, which is very sort of strong creative area for Cole in and around here. So of course that's the first sort of big thing. You've still got your 1v1 winger on one side with Gittins. Now the negative is, if you was to want Enzo in the team still, of course this is a factor, because he's now deeper, and you lose a little bit of that physicality in the pivot if the team does break on you. And let's say Caicedo has to cover the space that Gusto has left out here. Again, that's not an arrow. Out here, then Enzo is left with larger space to cover in the middle of the pitch. So in some games, we may still see Maresca opt for someone like Lavia in there with Caicedo, because then you've got a little bit more physical presence in the middle of the pitch. And that's where the tactical usage and the no best XI comes into it, because you now have multiple options, and it depends on the game, what you want for the game and how you're going to play. So that's why you could see the overlapping fullback. Again, the positives of the pockets, how you could sort of equate for it with the double pivots and how that could work. And again, how your wide options with maybe Gusto out on one side. Again, it could be with Simmons on the left and Cucurella overlapping. So that's, again, very similar. So that's the overlapping fullback sort of version. Now, the third version is something we saw in pre-season, and it's, well, pre-season, Club World Cup, and we might see it in pre-season again, but we also saw it last season once or twice, where we play a little bit more of a nominal back four, where you then have the double pivot intact. Again, I've lost Enzo, he's there. The double pivot intact. You have one of your wingers, so let's say Palmer, coming inside, your number 10 inside, and then you have whoever's this side. So let's put it as Neto for now. But again, this could even be João Pedro. Do you know what? Just to have a bit of fun, let's say that's João Pedro. He's playing on the left for this game. You have, which maybe isn't ideal because you don't have the width, but the point is, and this could be Jackson as well, or Neto as we saw in the Club World Cup. This then gives you that sort of split striker dynamic. You've got Neto who can hold width, but he can also run inside. You've got Delap who can run that channel, but he can also attack the box. You've got Palmer coming in from here to create that double pocket, which we saw against Flamengo. But you've also then got Reece who can get forward to provide extra support on this side. Now, again, that could be Gusto if you don't trust it, to help Palmer. So let's say that could be Gusto. But you've also got Cucurella who can push forward or can come inside, and you can allow for rotations with Enzo Fernandez, who can be protected with the likes of Simmons, Cucurella, and then, of course, you've got your two centre-backs intact. Now, what this allows for is that you've got your split strikers, but you've got fullbacks who can make their movements rather than sort of being pre-decided. The fullbacks' movements depend more on how the attack sort of goes. If that ball goes into Palmer, that's a trigger for Gusto to attack that space. Whereas, for example, if Palmer drifts wide, that's a trigger for Gusto can attack this space. So there's a little bit more versatility on when they attack, because they're starting from deeper. They can see the pitch, and the movements ahead of them with these sort of like, let's say these four attackers here, can dictate what movements these fullbacks make. So sort of playing that 4-2-2, which can become a lot of different formations on the fly, could be something that we use against certain teams, especially teams that press man for man, so that you get the chance to sort of pin both centre-backs at times with two strikers and give these two in the middle a lot of freedom, with the two fullbacks offering as support. So that's the third and final aspect of what you could see next season from Enzo Maresca, with the inverted fullback, the overlapping fullback, and then the usage of nominal fullbacks. Okay then, now that we spoke a little bit about that, I'm going to leave this on screen. I guarantee if somebody joins the stream, they're going to say, what is this? But the video will also be out as a VOD on probably like Wednesday, Thursday, for you guys to sort of think about again, and it will have extra editing and bits in it that I want to speak about with some data. So that should be good as well. So let's open the chat up again now. We're not going to have time to go through every single chat that's been sent since. So if you've got any questions, now is the time to put them in, because we're going to open up the chat section again. I'm going to really quickly refresh. We've been going for an hour. I'm going to go for another 10 odd minutes because I want to try and run that like total up. We've got 66 likes. Can we get it to 75 minimum? We need 9 more. We've got 92, so it should be very, very easy. Can we at least get 9 more to get 75, please? I think Garnacho would work well where you have Neto in that top 2. Yeah, it could do as a split striker. Let's go through Reese's questions. Got a few questions, Connor. 1, thoughts on 3-3-4, starting midfield of Enzo, Simmons with Caicedo deepest. So would that be Enzo on the right instead? 2, are you still planning on using playback? Yes. The first playback is either going to be tonight, depending on what time other people start streaming, or tomorrow, because I have a free day completely tomorrow. As soon as I come off this stream, I have got a long day of analysis work to get going with. So I might do it this evening, like this afternoon. But make sure you're followed. I'll also put it on Twitter when I go live. So yeah, that will be there. Interesting. I haven't seen this from Adam Cleary, because for me, a lot of his goals come centrally. When you look at his heat, I guess he means coming from playing on the right. For me, he's much better at being in the middle of the park, and his shots coming from between the posts. I think Euro expert Alex Barker spoke about this as well, and it's something I realised too, is that his shots are much better when he's in those central areas. So he's shooting sort of within these lines here. So like, yeah, more central, rather than having to sort of bend it from here on that left side. So that's like the main thing I've noticed with Simmons' goals and his shots generally. No idea on the Chelsea sponsorship. The name of the playback, let me get the link for you. It is literally just Chelsea Tactics Talk, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, we're going to be giving playback a go, just extra something to sort of give back. And I think it's something probably quite easy for other people to... Why can't I find where to share this? Something very easy to sort of allow everybody else to chat as well. Like, it doesn't have to be with me, like specifically. Like, obviously I'll be hosting, and like I'll be getting people up to stage and sort of leading conversations, but it allows I can bring multiple people up at once. And is this one? I cannot find a way to share this, which is ridiculous. Definitely just missing it completely. Put in on Playback TV, Chelsea Tactics Talk. Maybe if it works like this. Let me know if this link works, if you was looking for it. That link might just work itself. But yeah, that's the playback room. We will be using that to sort of allow everybody else to have chats on stream with us. Just join Let's Go Smithy. Yeah, we're going to give it a go, see how it goes. A lot of people sort of enjoy it from what I watch. And like I've said before, it's something that like the likes of Alex, Pice, Con, those guys will stream over there. Gem as well is another one. They will stream over on playback. And when I'm literally just doing my work in the afternoon, I like to have something to listen to on. So playback's something I use for that. I sort of just whack a playback on in the background and just get working. So I think it's one of those ones. It's like a live podcast, isn't it? Really. So bit of fun. 74 likes. We need one more like. We'll go for a few more questions, and then we're going to be leaving. Are you ever going to start doing watch-alongs? Maybe eventually, but it's just going to be really tough for me, because with actual games, I'm so like where a lot of people do watch-alongs and they're reacting with the fans. For me, I'm either one, really just trying to enjoy it and sort of chill out and watch the game, and then I'll watch it later for extra. Sometimes if I'm watching it for work, I have to literally be noting things constantly. So I think it'd be really hard for me to do watch-alongs and actually provide good like content that I'm happy with from a watch-along. But maybe one day, maybe we'll be able to do some watch-alongs. Maybe there'll be like odd games that we can. But yeah, like this season, instead of like watch-alongs, what I'm going to pride myself on for this channel is previews and reviews. So for every single game, have a tactical preview, which will include breaking down the opposition in the same way that opposition analysts would do so. We're going to break down the opposition, how Chelsea could break them down, and of course talk about the players and teams that would work for, like team compositions that would work for that. And then for the reviews, again, it would be the same thing. We'd watch the game, and I'd come back with a lot of sort of images, data, and all the things that help to go towards that. Is watching football as a job a dream, or does it take the fun out of it? It is a dream. It's exactly because it's what I wanted to do. But I will say, you have to be careful with how you consume football at that point. You have to leave some time. Yeah, thank you, Destroyer. I'm looking forward to doing them as well. You have to leave some time for yourself in terms of like certain Chelsea games. I say I'm not working on this one. I'm going to watch it, and then in 2-3 days time, I'll watch it back. Yeah, the previews and reviews are going to be unreal this year. That's what I'm massively looking forward to. That's going to be something that I want this channel to be like renowned for next season. The place to go for your preview and review content. So that's going to be like, we're really going to be aiming on that. Of course, Tactics Talk, that also kind of reviews games. So that will be another thing for you to look forward to as well. I've got so many plans for this season. So stick with me. Keep supporting the channel, keep dropping likes, comments, all that good stuff. And yeah, we'll be cooking. We're on 76 likes. We've got 78 left in the building. We're probably going to run it up there because we've been going for about an hour. Run it up, round it up. Got a video coming out today ranking your guys' teams. Please let me know what you think of the editing, the support, and all that stuff. Yes, Samuel, we are on the road to 10K. That is exactly what I'm aiming for by the end of the year. So fingers crossed we can do that, because that is my big goal that I set back in January. And it's moving nicely. We had a really good July. It slowed down a little bit in the last week, but hopefully with the season coming and like all the ideas I've got, we can really push back towards that road to 10K. Yeah, I think that's all I wanted to say. Like I said, video out today. You need Relentless Runner for what? For this team. Runners, yeah, 100% you do. 100% you do. Generally speaking, like, again, that's something I've tweeted a lot with the likes of Barcelona, with Rafinha. I'm trying to think of other examples now. Marmoush for City. You've got lots of those players. We lost one in Noni. Yeah, we did. But that's maybe what they want Garnacho for, to replace that Relentless Runner from wide. Of course, they've got Gittins as well now, who can be that. But he likes to progress via his own carries and create for himself. Whereas Garnacho is a little bit more off-ball runner for me than Gittins. But yeah, 100% from Mike. Let's go. Right, so we're going to leave it there. Don't miss the video out later today. All support on that will be greatly appreciated. Playback, keep your eyes peeled. That might be today, if not tomorrow. Loads of good stuff coming. So thanks everybody for watching the stream. And as always, all the comments, support, chat, very appreciated. Thanks again to Kaz for the power chat. That's our third or fourth power chat. I think it's our third power chat that we've had since streaming in the last 2 streams. So huge. Big up, Mike. Let's go. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.